Country. Welcome to the podcast. If you are the individual out there that dreams of being in the country, or you've made the transition in life to being a country folk, well, welcome to the show. My name's Mike, and right there is Papa Country.
Howdy, Mike.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I guess I should paint the picture. As I take a look at you now, you've got your cowboy hat on. The barn is in the background. Big, beautiful blue skies and some pines behind you. You are in the great outdoors as we make this podcast today.
That's right. We're in God's country here at the Hello Country farm with our horses and dogs. The little guys here. So is Mama Country. Yeah, we're living the dream.
Okay, so if you're Papa Country, I guess that would make me Suburbanite Mike, because we are joined by the connectivity of the wonderment of technology, which makes it, I think, a little bit easier to be in the city and still be connected to everything that you needed in the way of living life. For everything from entertainment to connectivity is available, and you're proving that right now.
Yeah, I think this whole transition from city life to country life would have been much more difficult had it not been for the internet or high-speed Wi-Fi. But we've got it, so we're using it, and we're loving it.
Well, this is going to be fun. In coming episodes, we'll talk about a wide range of things, everything from making that transition from suburbia or from urban scenarios across Canada, and even in different parts of the world. We'll reach out to see what that's like. As people make the transition, what you can expect, and of course, tales from people who are in that process or have done it, much like yourself.
Yeah, we really want to reach out and tell stories from other folks who have said goodbye city, hello country.
Papa Country, you packed up and moved out of, really, basically suburbia, but it was right up against an urban landscape in Toronto. And you made the move. Where did you go to? Why did you do it? And tell us what it's been like.
Well, let's sure. Before I get to that, if we back up a few years, and really not too many years, I could probably count them on one hand. I went from Bay Street, wearing a suit and tie every day, to now wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, driving a tractor. So it's been a massive shift in my lifestyle. But, most recently, my wife, Mama Country, and I had always dreamed about a quieter life, a life with more room to roam, with fewer people, just a simpler country life. And, we had somewhat looked casually. That's the little guy in the background.
Hey, Luke.
You can see him, his photo on the website. He's featured quite prominently on our Instagram page as well, at Hello Country Magazine. But Mama Country and I had always wanted a country life. And one day last summer, I found a property on my phone. I said, "Love, hey, take a look at this." And she said, "You know what? I found one too. Take a look at my phone." So we swapped phones, and boom, it was the same property.
Come on.
So I looked at that, as a sign from above. I immediately called the realtor, scheduled a viewing, and the rest is history.
Now, what did you experience on your? Let's go with you on the drive from the city to the country to look at this property for the first time. What did it feel like when it revealed itself as you pulled up?
Well, you know what? Speaking of driving, like that's what we would do. The little guy would not necessarily nap so easily in his crib, so we would hop in the truck and we would just drive. And we would take these long country drives and dream about maybe possibly one day moving to the country. But we were thinking, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. So when we found this property, driving up was like, wow, this could be a possibility. And we kept on hearing this song. It's by Stephen Lee Olson. It's called Hello Country. And some of the lyrics are in line with our new lifestyle, like, saying goodbye city, hello country. And that song and its lyrics really inspired the lifestyle shift. It inspired this podcast. It inspired Hello Country Magazine, hellocountry.ca. So kudos to Stephen Lee Olson, who ironically was our very first follower on Instagram at Hello Country Magazine. And he's a Canadian guy, so it's kind of cool. He's down living in Nashville, I believe. But it's kind of interesting that a song for the most part, really inspired this lifestyle change of ours.
And it's become an adventure. So now you make a move. You're out there in the country, just in time.
That was my fault. I leaned on my keys. I'm sorry. That's truck casting for you.
It's funny, man. Okay.
That wasn't my fault. Oh, that was my fault. Mama Country says it was my fault.
It was your fault, man. If she says it's your fault, guess what?
Then it's my fault.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so now you escape the city. You've got a property. Your dream and your adventure is underway. And the first season you really met with is winter. How did the first winter treat you in the country?
Well, this is a great question, and perhaps it was foreshadowing, but we moved up here in mid-November in a snowstorm. And my little SUV barely got up the hills coming up through Caledon, and we finally pulled in. We settled in for the winter, and we were hit with more snow than we have ever seen in our life. Snow was up to my chest in some areas. We had drifts up probably upwards of 12 feet, covering the garage door, which when I say garage, it's like a workshop, basically, not our little garage that we're used to back in the city. So you can appreciate the difficulty of digging out of that with a shovel, which is what I was used to when I was living in the city. And a shovel and snow up here in Great County just don't go together.
No, so suddenly you've got to upgrade the equipment. That snowblower ain't going to do it anymore. So
even the walk behind snowblowers, it's you get laughed at by nature, let alone your neighbors. And speaking of whom, we have, really we're blessed, Mike, with great neighbors up here. And that was kind of a funny way to meet your neighbors, is when they pull up to your property with a big tractor and a big old snowblower attached to the back and say, "Hey, you guys need a hand?" And I said, yes, sir, we do. So we had at one point two of our neighbors with two great big tractors and big snowblowers helping to blow us out through this winter. And they kept on doing it. And I really appreciate their help. And it just goes to show maybe some of the differences between city life and country life. Like, folks here they're really nice, they're generous, they're quiet. It's not to say that the opposite is the case in the city, but certainly I think there is a difference between city folk and country folk. But we were met with winter, and we got a taste of it. It was more snow than we have ever seen in our lives. And, later on, we talk a bit about winter with folks come spring here. And they laugh when I say it was the most snow we've ever seen, because they said that was nothing. So I'm not sure what the next couple of winters are going to be like. Yeah, so we'll see.
You heard stuff like, "Wow, man, nature really took it easy on your first winter here," and you're like, "Come on, really?"
That's exactly what they said. They said, "Are you kidding? That was nothing." Wow. And I thought, "Oh boy, so what are we into?" So I've since bought a tractor with a snowblower and some other attachments to get through the rest of spring, summer, fall, and next winter.
How many acres do you sit on there?
We are on 13 picturesque acres here.
And I'm hearing and seeing through some of your pictures to me in the text that we exchange, you're up to some scooping over there. You must have some livestock that must be new to you. I'm pretty sure you didn't have livestock in the city, huh?
We had dogs, which don't count.
That is
under the category of livestock.
Yeah.
But you know what? I personally, as a young boy, always dreamt of being a cowboy. I know it's maybe cliche, but I grew up watching cowboy shows and movies, and I don't know, I just had that in me. And later on in life, I really took a liking to country music, and I listened to it exclusively. And my wife also grew up riding horses, so we have the same dreams, which is great for a marriage. And we've since purchased 2 horses and a pony. And owning horses is kind of like having babies. It's just all about poop. Yeah. Like, I spend my day cleaning up poo, whether it's the little guy's poop or the bigger guys, which are the horses. So yeah, I sent you some photos and maybe we'll post one on a future podcast, certainly on the website. It might make it into the magazine as well.
It's one of my favorite photos ever, because I know Papa Country from the city, and to get a photo that shows the silhouette of him standing there with his cowboy hat on and just the pitchfork aimed at the poop, that's one of my favorite photos of all time. I knew you had arrived. You seemed in your element.
It seems natural, and it's therapeutic. Cleaning up a paddock, mucking the paddock, and filling an entire wheelbarrow and then some of horse poo every day is one of my favorite jobs on the farm. And same as it goes for my wife. She enjoys it as well, which is great. It's just a nice, relaxing thing to do. It sounds odd, but it's just one of these things on a list of things that I never thought I would do.
Well, I have to hand it to you. You've really made a passionate adventure in your life come true, and every day it seems to provide something new to you, because I keep up with you from over here in suburbia, and it is a really admirable thing that you would take your life and move it to a scenario where you didn't know, for example, how much snow you'd need to move, or whether or not you would be able to have the time to make the changes to the property. Now you're all about it all the time. This podcast, and of course the magazine, Papa Country. Let's talk a little bit about that. Coming up in future episodes, I'll recommend that you subscribe, because we'll be talking to some very, very astute experts in the country life. And a little bit of advice can go a long way. I think you'd agree.
Oh, I'd agree wholeheartedly. I mean, we joke, we say it a lot, but you don't know what you don't know. And we didn't know much when we got here. And to be honest, we learned a bit, but there's still so much that we don't know. But I think if you're open with that and you accept the fact that you've got a lot to learn, then it makes it fun. And life can be frustrating in general, but you move up to the country and you got a lot of property to maintain. You're responsible for, livestock, like you said. It could be frustrating, but it's also very fun, and we try to take that approach with it. But we keep coming back to the fact that we don't know what we don't know. We don't have friends up here per se. We have some great neighbors who are becoming friends, but it's not like you see them every day. If I did a 360 right now for you, you wouldn't be able to see another house, which is awesome. We'd love that about living up here. We know the neighbors aren't far away, but we can't see them, and seldom do we hear anybody talking outside of ourselves, which is great as well.
And yet somehow you're not focused on you. I haven't heard you say I or me once in this entire show. You tend to talk about we and the community and how it feels and the animals, and everything has to do with the focus coming off of you. And I think that that's a really valuable thing in life, because then you actually live in the moment. You live and see the world around you.
Yeah, and I think in being surrounded by nature, we certainly have more of an appreciation for it. And doing things like pruning apple trees. We have a little micro orchard with a handful of apple trees, some pear trees, and we've got some grapevines and some berry bushes. So going through the process this spring of pruning, so cutting away in order to grow, is a metaphor unto itself. And, we've certainly taken a leap of faith with our life. And I think we have so much more to look forward to, so many stories yet to unfold that we can talk about here and talk about in the magazine. And it's really a great adventure that we've embarked upon.
Stay with us. We'll take the adventure with Papa Country, Mama Country, and Baby Country out there as they make the adjustment in life that they dreamt so much of and seem to be enjoying every day. And find out more. Where can people do that? I mean, where can people follow the adventure?
Well, they can follow us at hellocountry.ca, or they can follow along at Hello Country Magazine on Instagram.
Thanks, buddy. Let's do this again. Well, the sky is still blue behind you, and we'll get another update from you next week. Meanwhile, subscribe to the show, share it with the neighbors, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Mike.